Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. I've got an extremely quick update for you guys here on this channel. So we've obviously seen a bit of a dump in the last 4 to 5 hours or so, certainly throughout the night here in the UK. We did kind of anticipate this in a few of the recent videos where we said this kind of chart movement really depends on Bitcoin's ability to stay stable across its current position that it was at yesterday. But as you could see sort of on the hourly and 4-hourly charts of Bitcoin, the price was beginning to look like it was just not going to break that resistance barrier. So we're in a position now, guys, where obviously we're seeing a bit of the market tank. Don't worry too much about this because actually, if you look at the grand scheme of things, and we just got the XDC chart up here before we look at Bitcoin and a couple of others, just to reiterate these kind of points, to be honest. If you look back here, maybe just for XDC's point of view on the 6th of August, we've obviously had a big, massive rise up here. And that's quite a repetitive chart, to be honest, on most crypto assets. And if we just quickly jump to Bitcoin, for example, if you give me 2 seconds, there we go. You'll see a similar pattern. So back here from July, which is predominantly where a lot of the crypto assets started building up again, almost from scratch after the big dip between April to kind of June, July time. Usually what you see across the board is around about a 50% reduction, or up to 50, sometimes even up to 60% reduction as you go along these charts. And that's what's happened really to this extent thus far since around the 6th, 7th of September. Now, what we can take from that is that, this is pretty normal, and, it does shake out a lot of people, to be honest. That's why I'm saying do not panic too much. Keep holding as much as you can, because we will ride this wave and it will start rising up again. So when we look at things like XDC, and by the way, quite particularly happy, albeit I don't like seeing drops, of course, we did manage to hit our lowest final buy point here. We did in the last video consider that we may drop back down to here if the bearish momentum continues, okay? And again, we look back at this kind of market here around the 12th of August, really, or around that kind of period, where we see a potential rise, we saw the rise up here, but the potential reduction of up to 50%. And if you look at this, and we just draw quickly into the price range here, and we look at kind of like from this level up, we see it's around 137%, which is actually quite phenomenal. And if we do that on the reverse, just quickly here, I'll draw this on the other side, downwards, we're only really just under 40%. So there is an argument to say, when I mentioned about potentially coming down to here, that would indicate a 50% reduction, okay? So it's really, really interesting to watch these charts sometimes. And it's one of those things, you can do all the analysis you want, but of course, Bitcoin kind of dominates a lot of the scenarios. And we did mention, as I said in the last few videos, of Bitcoin's movements, in terms of resistance, can it penetrate them? And then people lose out on leverages and things like that, and just general manipulation as well. Of course, we had Cardano yesterday, getting that hard fork and smart contract news. And they always say, like, buy the rumor, sell the news. And I think there is a big emphasis to that, because we saw the rise of Cardano about a couple, 3, maybe up to 3 or so weeks, moving up to that point before a reduction. So it's almost like partially coordinated in time with other things as well. So when Bitcoin drops, say, $3,000 to $4,000, it's enough volume and enough impact to make the altcoins do that as well, which is why we see this emphasis here. So I'm just putting up the XDC chart here. We'll go through a few of the others later on today as well, just to give a bit of definition as to why this has happened and what things to look out for in the future. And I would like to point out as well that we did put several buy points on the way down here, and we've triggered all of them. I did have a circle. I don't have a buy point down here because I've run out of XDC to put back in, but I'm extremely happy with this performance personally. And, it's not to say that we're getting things right, this, that, and the other. You should follow every move. It's obviously do your own research and not financial advice. But just have a think on the way up about percentage profit taking And also, if you are trading or trying to accumulate in that way, think about that as well on the way down. Use both principles on the upside and the downside, and you go basically along the kind of dollar cost average aspect. So we're in a bit of an interesting position here. We've had a small wick down, slightly lower to around 0.1183. It's again a point of interest because the RSI is quite low, so we will take that into consideration. So there's plenty of movement onto the upside, but there's also still a bit more of an opportunity to reduce this chart slightly downwards a bit more. And we are still in a bearish momentum on the MACD. So we need to pay attention to that in the sense that we could still come down to this level. And the only other reason that I put this area in, not necessarily because of a 50% possible retracement, but more importantly as well, from the historic data, we've had hardly any touches on this level of support for XDC. So like with all the charts, you see this absolute bullish momentum, but there's no support behind it. And the 9 times out of 10, that will drop down significantly over time. Not always immediately. If you have parabolic runs within a 2-3 day period, sometimes you get a match of that in the back. And you see that here around the 20th of August. You see the uprise of about 3 or 4 days worth, and then you see a reduction for 3 or 4 days worth. It's all about trying to find that real point of price point, yeah? So I'm going to leave that video there, guys. I hope you found this informative and gives you a bit more of an indication as to how the charts may work in the future and some potential buy opportunities. Keep following us on that aspect. We don't always get it right, but it's certainly a good indication. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll wrap this up and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.